Hello. If you are ready or you're preparing to finish your dissertation, this is the live for you. I hope that you are somewhere at the end of your coursework. Maybe you are preparing for your exams. Maybe you are in the middle of the dissertation and you are looking for help because this time of year right now, y'all, motivation starts to drop. You start to think about 2024, all the things you said you would do, all the things that you said you would hope in January, and now we're in December, and you're probably looking back feeling like, oh, I didn't do everything I wanted to. So I'm going to bring somebody on if they'll let me. Oh, it won't let me. You have to request, Erica. Um, but a lot of people around this time of year start to panic, or you start to get into like planning mode because you want the next year, so 2025, you want it to be better. And you're trying to figure out how do you go faster by still producing quality work. The Finish Your Dissertation program is something I created over 4 years ago to help you with this very thing. 4 years ago, I was working with students one on one, and I was like, it would be a much better experience if it was in a community. And so I created a comprehensive program. Most of you are probably getting help from here and your advisor and whatnot. And this program is not meant to replace your advisor. It's not meant to replace your program. It is meant to be a support to you. I want you to think about coming to a class that guides you through ending your coursework, finishing out and passing your exam successfully, and starting a dissertation process where you can get all of that done in the timeline that you really wanted to. We're not going to tell you your timeline is ridiculous. We're not going to say it's impossible. We're going to tell you this is the plan required to get it done. This is what you would have to do. Are you up for that challenge? Because I love a good challenge. When you have the right support, anything is realistic. When you know what to do, when you know all the steps, anything is realistic. So I'm going to bring up Dr. Brooks because she had asked me a similar question um, about I want to be the first one to finish in my cohort. And the person told me, or I don't know if the program director who told you, there's some feedback, Erica, and I'm not sure if your phone is on. Sometimes when it's up against a hard surface, the sound, but I don't hear it as much now. Um, but yeah, we had a phone conversation, and she said, I want to be the first one. And her program director told her, don't even think about it. Don't even think about, you probably won't even, what was it, even start your dissertation until August 2024. And I was like, no, girl, we going to be done. We going to be done. But before we get there, please introduce yourself. Anything that you think would be helpful for people to know.
Can does it sound okay now?
Yeah, it sounds good now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Erica Brooks. I just graduated December 13th. I defended my dissertation November the 1st of this year. I was 2 years into FYD, I think. I started in the middle of coursework in year two of literature review. And I'm trying to think of all the things. Started year two. I came just as a spectator. It was one of those things where I just wanted to see what it was about, but I know we'll get into that. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yes. So, yeah, let's actually go back to the beginning because someone right now who just said they just got accepted into their program. So, congratulations. Um, and it's doing it again, Erica. I'm not sure. Listen, Mercury retrograde is over, but we're in the post shadow period. So I don't know if maybe it's having a hard time. Maybe it's me. Let me adjust my phone too.
Maybe it is me. I
Um,
don't know.
well, do y'all hear the feedback? If y'all don't hear it, I'll just talk through it. So please let me know if you hear any feedback if you're listening. Um, so the person who just said, Kelly, right, who said, I just got into my program. A lot of people see the name finish your dissertation and they're like, oh, you'll hear from me when I'm at the end of the dissertation. But you joined while it's still in courses, right? Um,
That's
so tell us a
correct.
little bit about why you even thought to sought out support then, why yeah, like why didn't you wait essentially to join?
Well, I'll start off by a good friend of mine, Dr. Natasha Winston, had I saw what she went through, with her program and, with her and her story, and she shared it on here before. And so she was like, "You really need this." I was like, "No, I don't need like a program. I'm good. I got the cohort, right? Like the cohort that my university set up for us, that kind of thing." And so it was in the end of it was going into my year
Mm-hmm.
two literature review. I don't know nothing about no literature review. I didn't know nothing about all of that, like how that process worked, that kind of thing. But she was like, "You really need this, FYD, finish your dissertation, like just hit Dr. Lacey up. Just hit up, see what she's talking about." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." And then I really thought about, like, how we always invest in other things and we put money toward other things. Well, this would be the second time in my life that I would have ever invested in myself, important to me. And if it's something that I wanted really like bad enough, then I was like, if you want this, you want to be doctor, you want to be doctor bad enough, you want this, so you're going to invest in yourself. You invest in everything else,
Mm-hmm.
so why not pour into you? So that was really the biggest factor for me. And then when I was able to see, like, just come in and just see how the layout was, I knew it was for me. Like, it was the structure. It was the structure. It was the structure I didn't know I needed for my ADHD brain, and the way everything was mapped out in a timeline. And someone, like, I think it was one of my professors in another, my specialist program, that had told me, he was like the dissertation is all about a certain timeline, like doing things in a specific timeline when you need to get them done. Well, I thought I was a really good planner, like I did,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I wasn't. And then just the way I was able to structure my time and the way you set the program up, it was golden. And starting that in coursework, because the way my program was designed, it was we were building our dissertation the entire time. So it wasn't where we had to wait till the end of coursework and then I start writing. No, I started writing even the summer before I joined. That summer, I had to write chapters 1 and 3. I don't even know if it was good enough. Like, I didn't. It was one of those things where this is an assignment, but it was also a part of this is your dissertation. And so I started that, but I knew once I got into the literature review, I was going to need some help. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
going to need some help and a structured timeline. And that's really, really, really why I joined. And then, of course, the conversation that we had
Yeah.
while I was riding in the back of the car.
Yes. Okay. Like, we're gonna get to that. 'Cause it's one of my favorite stories. But take me back to right that summer before when your program has you working on chapter 1 and 3, and this is important because I want people to know, and I want you to have your flowers in terms of it's not like you were out here not on top of it. Okay, because I need y'all to know that Dr. Brooks is that girl, was that girl, and still will forever be that girl. Right. So it's like she is the person, and please correct me if you wouldn't describe yourself in this way. But she is the person, like the entire school would come to her if you need a problem, if you had a class management issue, if there was a new teacher who needed some mentorship or who needed support. Like Erica's the person. Oh, the assistant principal can't figure some. I'm going to Erica. So I want to be clear when she's saying, "Oh, I thought I knew how to plan. I didn't." It isn't because she wasn't on top of it. It's not because people didn't speak or think highly of her. It's just that when you come into the Finish Your Dissertation Institute, we're going to help you go up a few notches. Like we want to take that great foundation that you already have of being on top of, and we're going to the next level because you got other things to do than to like continuously be the go-to person for everybody and try to do the dissertation. Meanwhile, your dreams are on the back burner. We don't got no, you got dreams. You got people who are waiting for you. And so this program is not only going to make sure you finish that dissertation, but it's like, who are you? Who are you becoming? So we had Erica and I, Dr. Brooks and I had a conversation. Um, and we were talking, her husband was surprised. I think he was surprising you with something. And she's in the
It
back seat.
was.
She's in the back seat talking to me, and I'm like, "Listen, I'm as long as we got a strong signal, okay, we can talk until you get to wherever you're going." And what she said was, "I just I just want to be able to do how I remember it. You tell me, but I just want to be able to do it all and not have the guilt of everybody feeling like I'm not giving enough time to them or I'm
Yep.
not being able to show up 24/7 for everyone. And I just want to be. I want to enjoy my husband. Do you see him? Look at him. I want to enjoy my family, and I just want to be. And I don't want to feel guilty about that. But I also, want to get out the classroom, and I want to have this like these dreams, and I was just like, why don't you just be a powerhouse? Now I don't know where that word came from, but I was just like, be a powerhouse. And this is my nerdy self thinking of like,
You're
am I
out here
time for you
changing
to,
lives. You're out here changing lives.
yeah. I mean, tell us, like, what was that like for you in the backseat of that car?
Yeah, so and I'm gonna back up just a tad bit there, but like Dr. Lacey was right. So I was a special education teacher in the classroom teaching. I said I had been teaching for, I want to say, I think it was I was going into my 12th year, maybe. I don't know, I can't even remember. But she was right. Like I was already doing the things like schedule time, all of those things I was already doing. And I had said I was not going to leave the classroom until I was going into year two, like toward that year two part of my dissertation. And so I did that. Became an academic innovation specialist at another alternative school. And we'll get into all of that later and like how all that stuff folded out. But what it was sitting in the backseat of the car, my whole reservation was other people. Like I kept thinking about giving time to other people because I knew this was different. I've done school before. I've done a bachelor's,
Mhm.
master's, specialist program, but I've never done a dissertation before. I've never been a doctor before. That looks different. And I knew that it was going to take something special, like something else to help me get there. And so my biggest worry was like, how do I manage time and still allow myself, again, pour it into myself, allow myself to just be me. Like I didn't know what that was. And when she said, I'm in the backseat of this car riding, being surprised, I don't even know where we was going. I can't even remember now. But being in the backseat of the car, and she said, what if you just showed up and allowed yourself to be a powerhouse? First of all, I was like, this lady don't even know me. What is she talking about? Like, she don't even know. And my husband's in the front seat, like, yeah, that's it. You better go. Like, he's pumping it up. And I was like, no, like, what do you mean? Like, babe, like, we're gonna have to pour, like, I'm gonna have to really, like, take time out of my, like, put it to myself, that kind of thing. And so it was at that moment I realized, like, wait a minute, like, you said you wanted this. You said you wanted to be that. You said all these things. So what if you did? Like, I knew it was one of those things always knew that I was really good, like, at teaching, at all those things. But it was, can I do this thing? Like, this was huge. And so I was like, what if I did that? Like, what if I just blocked out the noise, blocked out the naysayers, showed up every day and just did it? And I didn't look back. Like I did not look. It was at that moment when she said that to me. There was some internal soul or whatever inside of me that was like, you know what? Go for it. What you got to lose? You got everything to gain, nothing to lose. And it was at that exact moment when I knew this is where I needed to be.
Mm.
And I didn't stop there. Yep.
And so to pause for all of you on this call, I want you to think about all the goals you have for 2024, all the goals you're creating for 2025, and you're probably sitting here thinking about how can I do everything I want to do and still maintain all my relationships and still be there for the people I want to be there for. And it really is a question of what if you first play it all out, meaning what if you gave yourself permission to do everything you want to do on that list? Before we start thinking about the logistics of how do I do it, you first have to start with saying, I give myself permission. And people tend to gloss over that because they're like, yeah, I mean, I wrote it down, so I gave myself permission. No, because a lot of times we'll say, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when the time magically shows up on my calendar. I'll believe when I magically start feeling confident. But what you don't realize is that you must take action before the confidence show up, before you start to see the effects of that. Now
And
the
I've
logistics,
never
oh, go ahead.
like it, and it was is exactly what you just said. Like I allowed myself permission. And I sit here and as I'm listening to you say that and looking back now, it's like, why did I even have to give myself permission? I should already have had that, right? Like I should have already had that embedded in me, but I didn't. Like I did, but it was buried somewhere. I don't know where it was. You brought it out of me. The program brought it out of me, but just really thinking about like just it's okay. Allow
Mhm.
yourself to be great. Like you showing up for you, and I chuckle and laugh. I showed up for me every day. For I've programmed for 3 years. I joined in what year 2 of this program. Like it was crazy. It was crazy how everything unfolded. I can't wait to tell y'all the rest. Like it just went. It just got crazy from that. It's exciting. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's just move on then because so we have this conversation and I say, listen, don't worry about the logistics right now while you're with your husband. Just think about what would it mean for you? What would it feel like if you were not in the classroom, if you were in a position where you're making six figures? Because that was a thing. Because it's like in education, we don't make that type of money, but there's some people are making that type of money. So what if, why not you? And what if you are the first one to finish in your cohort? Like just allowing yourself to be in that. On this past Sunday, we did a planning session inside of Finish Your Dissertation. And that's all it was. It's like dreaming. People don't realize how radical dreaming is, how radical it is to have hope. We often like limit ourselves into these like tiny boxes of, well, I can only think about graduating in a year, 18 months, or maybe 3 years, but we don't think, okay, what happens after graduation? Why are you doing all of this for? Like, what's the dream? Because we could start working on that now. So we have the conversation in the car. And how would you describe like your first few months being in the program, working with me, anything that's coming to your mind?
It was eye opening. Like I didn't realize how much I was wasting time. I laughed. I laughed because I didn't realize how much I was wasting time, right? Like I'm trying to do things like the cohort model. I'm
Like,
trying to
give
do
an
things like they say.
example. Give an
Yeah, like
example.
okay, so it was read all of this literature, like because again I was working on the literature review, so it was read all of the literature and then go back and analyze the literature and highlight key parts and do all of these things, and I was like, this is taking forever.
Mhm.
Like what? And then like structure your literature. You should know what your study is. I mean, I knew what my study is. Granted, I think that's also another key factor that kind of saved me, but we know that kind of changed in the end. But it was just really systematic. It was like, this is what it should look like. This is what you should do. Here, we're going to give you this PowerPoint. You're going to follow this format. Here's this funnel. Like they talk about the funnel, and I'm sure the funnel, I need you to go here to get to here, and then you need to have these three things. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no clue. But when I started planning and mapping out the time and being like, I'm going to devote 10 minutes. I was like, 10 minutes? 10 minutes to an article? Wait, Dr. Lacey, you got to be crazy. What do you mean? What do you mean 10? What do you mean 10 to 20? 2 hours? In a 2 hour time frame, I'm supposed to read how many articles? How's that possible? Well, it's possible. Like it was possible because of the way we had an opportunity to set our big goal. I love that. Like that's my favorite. The monthly goal, right? It was almost like a challenge.
Mhm.
For my again, like my brain, I need challenge and I need game. I need it to be gamified. So it became a game. So it was like at the end of this month, I'm gonna have, I don't know, say what it was a literature review, 30 days you gave
Mhm.
us, 30 days
Mhm.
to finish a literature review. So it was a 30-day literature review, which I felt like was impossible. In this class that I was supposed to take 16 weeks to do this literature review, and have it submitted by December, I think is when I was supposed to have it submitted by. So it was the table, write the table of contents, do the funnel, then your table of contents, then you're this, then you're that. So the way it was structured allowed me to quickly get it done because I did not think about it. Was you always talk about write the shitty paragraph, like that's what I did. Like that's exactly what I did. I was like, well, you know what, like I don't really have a structure model over here. I'm gonna do what they say to do because that's what my professor said for me to do, but I'm also gonna use what Dr. Lacey told me to do. So I will never forget, it was, I did not want to write this table of contents. I was not motivated. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I don't know. I just showed up to a Sunday call, and we was in a breakout session, and we went to a breakout, and I was like, well, everybody else is working. I guess I'll work on something. So I opened up the table of I opened up my computer, started working on my table of contents, got the table of contents done with was it a 2 hour time frame you used to
Mm-hmm.
do with us on Sunday? 2 hours, had it done, submitted, finished, and it became the model. My table of contents became the model for the class, and I didn't even want to do it. And I didn't use the model or the format that my, university or professors wanted me to use. I used what FYD was talking
Yeah.
about. Like I used that structure and that model. And I finished the literature review in like early. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So let me in case someone is curious. So in Finish Your Dissertation, we primarily meet on Sundays and Thursdays. Sundays is where we come together to say, okay, what is your plan going to be? Every month you need to choose one goal. And it's a goal that's intended to stretch you. So Dr. Brooks' case was we're gonna write this literature review, a shitty full draft of the literature review in 30 days
yeah.
because she said that she was in a 16-week course. So writing a full draft in 30 days would get her ahead of schedule, plus give her more time to polish it and revise it and to get feedback. So the goal was 30 days, and every week we come together and make a plan of how do I get closer to finishing this one goal. And some people will use that time, that Sunday time is 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll use this whole 2 hours to make their plan. Sometimes people will use the first 30 minutes or hour and make their plan and use the rest of it as like, I'm going to do some co-working and get some things done. Sometimes we'll have breakout rooms, and that is what Dr. Brooks is referring to. So in that one session, she went from not having the motivation to do the thing, even though, right, surrounded with the support, not having the motivation and
I
being
was
like,
not
well, everybody
motivated.
else is working. I guess I should. And this is why community is important, y'all. A lot of people think, oh, I could just do this by myself. But what happens in those days? Like probably right now, where you are you're exhausted, you have no motivation, and you don't even remember why you joined a doctoral program. You need people around you who are gonna be like, what you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, yeah, and it became a cohort within a cohort. Like I'm looking at the group chat of all my cohort members flipping out over this like literature review, and I'm over here done. Like I was like, well, I ain't gonna tell them I'm done. I was like, I was, I was like, oops, my bad. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm all right now. Like I got this system, but no, like the monthly planning and the goals and the setting the 2 hours and working for only a lot at that time frame. I can't even tell you if I even like through the time frame of just being with FYD. I can't even. I could probably count on my fingers how many times I worked on the weekend. That's crazy to me. Like that's
Mm.
crazy to me,
Like
and I
when
want
you
people to
say
understand.
you can count on the what like, no say it to us like we're three, okay?
Like I probably worked on the weekend on this dissertation maybe 5 times. Maybe 5 times on the weekend, like took a Saturday and worked on the weekend. And I'm gonna paint this picture for you. So at the time, I'm in coursework, full-time doc student. I was also teaching at the same university where I received my dissertation, where I received my doctorate from. And at the same time, I'm a full-time educator out here in the world working, teaching or whatever. Like that's what I was doing. So three jobs, three jobs. And so I would, when I was done with class, I scheduled my schedule to the point where I did not do anything on a Saturday or a Sunday. Sundays were the show up calls. So I knew that was my planning days. That's why I like to be finished with my work before the end of the week. And Dr. Lacey really stressed that. Like, well, not really stressed that, but that was a big thing. Like, you're going to come to plan. What are you doing for the next week? So I knew what, however I had to show up, I had a month to reach this goal. And so within that month, I knew I had to do little specific things throughout the week in order to get there. So I would make sure that I'm structured. Like I had class, I was teaching on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then I would have class like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So after class, and then I would have the calls on like Sunday and Thursday, like that with you. So after calls, I would block out like 2 hours of my time and just work 2 hours at the time. So if I have to stay up, so I know I'm a night worker, and I think that's something you really keyed in on too. Like, know when you best work. I'm a night worker. Like, I know my active brain kicks in about 6 o'clock. I know that. I can't do anything in the morning. That ain't my life. I understand that's not for me. I'm
Mhm.
not a 4 a.m.er. No, no. I'm a 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I can go to about maybe 11 or 12, and then I'm done. So I would schedule my block off my time 3 days a week, and I would do that every single day. I could probably share my calendar right now because I'm still in there, my calendar with people. And then it became a point where I was like, I'm not just sharing my calendar with me. I started sharing it with my husband. And I think that was a game changer too, because again, as I said before, I've never done this dissertation doctorate program before. So I needed everybody to know when I was working on articles, everybody in the house gonna know she's reading articles. Do not bother me. Like, do not
Yeah.
bother me. It popped up on everybody's calendar because that's how bad I wanted it. And that was part of your system and part of the FYD. Like, it had to be written down. And when you write it, you make it plain. Like, write the vision, make it plain. Like,
Mhm.
that's what I did every single week. And that's why I'm sitting here now. I'm so excited.
Yes, and I want to do a brief side quest, if you will. I also have a memory in the car in our first conversation, me saying one of your number one priorities is your marriage. And that this dissertation, these jobs, these other people do not come before that. So I am all in your business, but I also know for my people who are partnered, you cannot sacrifice your main source of support. You cannot sacrifice whether it's date night, just like the relationship. Like it can't all be transactional because if you want to get to the end of this thing and feel like, oh yeah, I did it, and like my relationship got stronger, like you can't sacrifice that. And so a part of the sharing the calendar part was like you need to know when this time is and what you're gonna be doing. And I'm like, because otherwise I want your attention too. I want to feel on your booty too. Like what you mean you sitting here, why not? But like that it's very deliberative, like making sure like you can have time for everything, we just got to write it down and we just got to make sure
Yeah.
it's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to the point where like if I wasn't doing something, he would come upstairs and be like, "Aren't you supposed to be researching articles? Aren't you supposed?" So he became an accountability partner too. And then he loved the calendar, so he's still using the calendar. I mean, we still got the calendar going. So it became it became a real big thing over here in this household. So yeah, yeah, it was huge.
Yes. And I went, okay, so come back, right? You mentioned like reading articles in 10 minutes, right? There's a whole process, y'all, for how you, like there's guides and whatnot that helps you to structure each chapter of the dissertation, but also it teaches you how to write, how to read, how to edit. You may think you know how to do those things, but you
No,
might be using like undergraduate strategies for something that's not going to work for the dissertation, right? And she was saying like it's taking too long. I'm like, you don't have to do it that way if you do it this way. And I want to be clear, this was pre adding AI to this process. And she was still able to get it done in less than 30 days. So I just need everybody
listen.
to let that sink in.
If we had AI, yeah, I was the defendant in December 2023. Not just playing.
Yes.
But no, like that's a real thing. Like there was no, I had to sit there. I read the article, highlight, go back, and I was like, how do you make sense of this information? One of the things you always said, and it still sticks out to me today, is you already know this information. And that did not make sense to me until I was done. Until I was like done with it all. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like you already know what you know. And so you just need the supporting claims to support those claims that you already know. Just write. Like write. And what people and what a lot of people don't know, and I know you know this, but I actually like it was around this time of 2023. I stopped writing because of all the revision. I was fed up. I was fed up. I could not write anymore from December to like February of
Mhm.
2024. Like I was done. The revisions and Bill took me out. Like I bawling, crying the whole caboodle. But what I did was I did other things. I could not write, but I did other things as you had suggested that I do. So
Yes.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so y'all, like she joined while like in the coursework. We work on the literature review. We get to the end of
Mm-hmm.
that fall semester, which was what,
Yes.
22,
20,
23.
Three. Was
23.
it 23?
I think,
No,
yeah, because
no,
I
no. It
was
was
in Georgia.
22.
It was
It was
22. I was like, I
22.
was in Georgia. Yes.
Yeah,
So we get to the
it was
end of her
22.
coursework of fall 2022, going
Yep,
into the next year. It's like, okay, we got to prepare for exams.
yep.
And the exams was part of that was to have a whole
One through
draft
three.
of the proposal.
Yes.
Yes. And isn't this also the time where you
Was
switch
presenting
jobs?
at a research
Yeah.
conference and I was getting ready to switch. Yeah, I was looking to switch jobs because I was then going into that final year and I wanted to be out of the classroom teaching. So yes, this is when I
Yeah.
switched jobs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember for her exams, okay, we need to talk about this because somebody right now is preparing for their exams. And she was not, after we did this amazing literature review process, she's like, Dr. Lacey, you don't understand. I got to be on top of it. These are the exams. Like, you get 30 days from the date that
You
you
get
say you
30
want to start.
days.
And she's just going on and on and on. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But here's the thing, you're not going to do yours in 30 days. You're going to do yours in 2 weeks.
Took
And
me
she
out,
was
y'all. Took me out.
like, what? I'm like, we got 2 weeks. So we're not gonna do this for 30 days. We're not about to be stressed out and
Woo.
making up this drama for 30 days. You're gonna get this done in
Listen.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. She gave me, I was like, no, we have 30 days. And she said, my advisor said I can do it in 30 days. Dr. Lacey was like, no, you're going to do it in 15. And I looked over at my husband. I said, she said, I got to do it in 15. Like I had a whole
Yeah.
moment. But guess what? I got it done in 12.
That is so, y'all. So that's a perfect example of you
Oh
don't give
my God.
yourself permission to play full out because I knew it wasn't going to take 30 days. I knew 15 days was me being conservative because I wanted to give her a week because I was like, this is ridiculous. Most of this is done.
Yeah.
Just put it together and turn it in.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Yeah.
for my exams, it was a module based. So it was all of our chapters 1 through 3. It was we had to do some kind of equity centered letter leadership thing, pre-record our presentation, like voice over on our presentations. That was already done because I had presented that at the research conference back in the spring. So Dr. Lacey knew I was done. I was playing around. I got that thing done in 12
Yeah.
days. She knew I was playing. She knew I was playing around. It was done.
Listen, y'all, it's because the people I work with, right, mostly very high achieving folks over here. And it's because y'all always are working smarter than harder, right? It takes one to know one. But
Yeah.
because you're always working ahead of schedule, you're not used to being around people who are willing to push you because they already see you as so exceptional. Now, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be rude. But hey, okay, like people, you're used to being around people who don't work as hard as you or don't know as much as you do. And so they don't know how to push you. But from one overachiever to another, oh, I know what you're capable of. And I know when you're playing small. So I knew she was playing small. I was like, this is done. I don't you probably need a day or two. And then this is a wrap. And I knew that the rest of it was her giving herself permission in her head to say, what if my 10% is their 90%? Because that's something I say a lot. What if you were willing to believe me that your 10% is everybody else is 90%. You right now listen to this. What if you were willing to believe me that you showing up doing the bare minimum, what you call the bare minimum, blows people out the water? Like if you can reflect back right now, I'm sure you'll be able to recall at least 2 or 3 times where you thought, oh, I just did something real fast and people were just blown away. I am asking you, what if that's your regular? And the only person who don't know that is you. What if that I need everybody on this call right now to sit with that. What if the only person who does not know that your 10% is everybody, 90% is you? And that is
I
why
didn't
everybody
realize
keeps
that.
coming to you. Yeah.
Like I didn't know that until like I gave myself that permission to do that. And it was at that moment. Well, there was multiple moments, but it was also another one of those moments where it's like, wait a minute, you supposed to turn this in you done got this done. Oh girl, you about to enjoy your whole summer. Go live your life. Like go live your best life. Your birthday grant come up. Go live your best life. So it's really good. Like giving yourself permission to be great. Like that's what it is. You already are, but we have to somehow always psych ourselves out. What did they say? The that anxiety sets in, the fear sets in, all those things set in, and then you're like, wait a minute, I did that. So yeah, it's real. And mind you, like that summer too, Dr. Lacey, our air went out in the house.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
like,
right.
yeah, so my air went out in the house, y'all, and my husband was like, nah, fam, you gonna finish it. So he put me up in a hotel. He put me up in a hotel. It was hot. It was in the middle of June. It was hot in here. I'm sweating little bead bullets trying to finish this for, trying to finish these comp exams. But he put me up in a hotel for a couple of days, and I was able to get it done in the 12 days that Dr. Lacey had bestowed upon me.
So, yes, a 30-day exam process that stressed most of the rest of her cohort out. She was done in 12
Done.
days. Done.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so I want for those of you who were here at the beginning, when I say like, no, we're gonna help you go up some levels, what you think you're capable of, that's what I mean. Right. So you have your summer. Right. And then the next thing, the next hurdle was her being like, I got the hardest chair. No, no, you don't understand. I got the chair that everybody's afraid of. Nobody wants to work with him because he's so whatever. I
But I
said, he's gonna be
asked
a
for
best friend.
him.
You
That's
asked for
what they
him. But I was like, he's gonna be your best friend. Why? Like by the end of this, y'all are gonna be BFFs. And she was like, no, I don't know.
It was. So after that, you wait that process, you pass. So I'm thinking, mind you, so now we're in August, friends. We're in August of we're 2023. Yeah, here
Yeah.
we go. Yeah, this is the good part. Here we get good. We're in August of 2023. And I'm thinking, okay, now mind you, all my other cohort members had, different chairs and that kind of thing. I asked specifically for Bill. We're gonna call him Bill. I asked for Bill because I knew how Bill worked. Okay. I knew how Bill worked. I know the quality that he puts out. Um, but I also didn't know the beast or the powerhouse that I was through this process. So he sends me up. I'm all giddy, like, oh my God, I passed. I'll send you all of my comps, all the things from comps. And he said, I don't want none of it. What? Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean? He was like, I don't want any of it. Like, wait, you don't want to read the comments of what the other professor said? He was like, no, I don't. He's like, here's what I need you to do. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I'm not even going to read your dissertation until after you set it up as if you are what was his whole thing? I wanted dissertation ready. I want everything dissertation ready. And I'm sitting here like, sir, what do you mean? Like I'm proposal ready. Like propose me ready now. Like what do you mean final dissertation? Sir, we got a whole year for that. No, he was not playing around. He was like, I wanted dissertation ready. So I need you to put all your things into this format, which are chapters 4, which are chapters 5. Sir, I just got 3 chapters. What do you mean? Like, I haven't even thought about a chapter 4 and 5. Barely got a chapter 1 through 3. So then that's when I was like, Dr. Lacey, like, what am I to do? And it was just like, listen to what your chair says, keep showing up, keep making the timeline, y'all. This is when my schedule, like, again, I switched jobs, right? Like I'm now out of the classroom. I'm an academic innovation coach, or yeah, academic instructional coach. Sorry, academic instructional coach. First year in this role at another school, doing all the things, like all the work, and still teaching at University of Louisville as well, and still trying to go through these revisions. Mind you, at the time frame, my other cohort members were moving through their process really, really fast, and this is where your like it got real for me because I started comparing my process to everybody else's process, and I would show up to the call stressed out, like stressed all the way out because I couldn't understand why everybody else's process was moving along faster than mine when I was done with my comp exams in 12 days. I had all these things, but no, this man was persistent on it looking a specific way. So I stuck with it. I went through revisions 1. He gave it back and he was like, do all of these things. I had over 130 some odd revisions. So me being me, I'm gonna sit, I grind, knock them all out. No, no.
Mhm.
Revision two. And I was like, okay, Dr. Lacey, like what is happening? I got people getting ready to go into proposal defense. Half of my cohort members are getting ready to defend their proposals. And here, I mean, I'm crying. I'm upset. I'm like about to lose my mind. She was like, no, you just got to keep with it. Like, here's what he worked, here's how he is.
Mhm.
And the thing is my chair was a quantitative chair. And it took that. I remember calling you. I think I called you on the phone, or so I was stressed all the way out. All of my recordings, stressed all the way out. And it was, then we got to revision like three. And he was like, no, you know what? Take this whole section out of your literature review. What do you mean? So I had to take a whole section out of my literature review, put it on the shelf somewhere, and go and write 30 more pages for something that I didn't even end up using in the end. Like, lost it. So then here we are moving into like December. And he was like, he was like, what is your timeline to finish? What he asked me. And I said, well, my timeline, I would like to be finished by August of 2024 or something like that. He was like, okay. He was like, I think that's doable. Just keep plugging along. And I was like, what do you mean keep plugging along? People are doing their proposal defense. And in my mind, I didn't see the big picture. I didn't see go slow to go fast, as Dr. Lacey had talked about. I didn't see the don't worry about everybody else's timeline because everybody else's timeline is not your timeline. I didn't see that. And in the midst of that, he also, around revision two, asked me a question. He said, why are you doing your study only on Black boys and why not Black youth? Well, let me tell you something. Friends, let me help you while I hold you. I wanted to be done, right? Like, I wanted to be done. I'm not going to argue with this man. I'm not going to go back with this man. This man holds the key. He holds the key to signing off the papers for me to be done. So I said, you know what? I don't know. I was like, that's just something I really wanted to do at first. But I was like, you know what? If you feel like I need to do Black youth, guess what? Guess what? I'm changing the title. My whole title changed. So that means that whole section that I talked about, I had to take all of that out because that was
Mhm.
just strictly on Black boys. So I had to go find more literature on Black youth. Mind you, I'm sitting here like, oh Lord, I'm not going to graduate in December of 2024. I'm not going to be done. I got like, there was 5 cohort members that are like, oh, we're starting IRB. And I'm like they starting IRB. I'm still on revision 3. Like it was a whole process. And I don't know if you want to elaborate more on that
Yeah,
and then
let
I'll
me
keep going
let
with
me
the story.
pause because I want to make sure people are tracking a few things. So she started out right, like she started out in this process that she was ahead of her cohort.
Yes.
And then she starts working with her chair. And as he's going through these multiple rounds of revision, she starts to see other cohort members and program folks starting to pass her up. Like they are finished with their proposal, they've defended it, they're doing IRB, getting ready to collect data. And she's like, I'm still on this proposal that was done a year ago. What's happening? So imagine the frustration when you're like, I did the hard part, I wrote the proposal, why are you, it could feel like your chair is holding you back. So she's like, Bill, why are you holding me back? That was the energy on the call week to week. And something I teach inside the program is everybody needs to make peace with, you're going to write each chapter 5 times,
Oh,
and then you're going to have to write that proposal 5 times. And when it's all said and done in terms of revisions. Now, for some people, like in Erica's case, that happens pre-proposal defense. For other people, that happens post proposal
yes.
defense. It doesn't matter the timeline, which is why we can't compare where people are doing versus what you're doing, because you're gonna have to rewrite it if you want it to be a good, solid dissertation. But there was a lot of things. We're going back and forth. And another rule that I have, or expectation rather, in the program is that you communicate with your chair at least once a week. That communication can be through an email or it can be face to face. But it's important to maintain that relationship because you are co-creating this dissertation with your chair. It is no longer just your project. It is both of your names are on this project. So they're gonna have a say just as much as you're gonna have a say. And that can be very challenging when you're like, no, I've been working on this all night. for all these years, and now you're gonna come in and tell me to change a thing that I don't even end up using. So yeah, so we're in December, we're going right, and she said earlier she was so frustrated because she was on revision 4, and now she couldn't do anything from December to February, you
I
said?
didn't do a thing. I just worked on, I remember you telling me because I also had to present at the research conference again. So like that's part of our program requirement. We had to present at the research conference. So I could not write. I stopped writing. So you were like, just work on your slides. Just work on your slides for your for the research conference, which was in February. And that's what I did. I
Mhm.
just worked on slides until I felt in my spirit that I could pick back up and start writing again. But it was immediately after the research conference I started writing again. But so we're in revision 4, and I felt like I was getting closer. But it was at this moment where I don't know if I just grew, I don't know what happened. I was like, you know what? I think it was a comment he made in my literature in my it was either the literature review or the I forget where it was the literature review, and I
Mhm.
said, oh no, he told me to take this out. So I remember I printed off all the copies of my revisions. Now mind you, I had really good communication with him. Like I kept him up to date. Every 2 weeks I was emailing him, letting him know where I was in my progress, letting him know when he should expect a submission from me. And he was really good about emailing me back, telling me, hey, I got one more person in the queue. I'll get to you in a week, or I'll get to you in 2 days. Usually it's a day or two. He got back to me like that. So we kept constant communication throughout the entire time. I did not ghost him because I needed this man as much as he needed my stuff. I needed to keep communicating with him. So I remember showing up. I mean, I had video chats with him. I showed up to his office with all my revisions, y'all. All my 4 revisions. And I was like, okay, make it plain to me because I'm not understanding what you're saying. And he was like, oh, okay. So then he got to drawing on his little whiteboard. And I mean, he got all excited about it. And I was like, well, can I record this session so that way I can go back and process? He was like, yeah. So it was at that moment, it switched. It switched for me. And I was like, this is why I have to do all these things. He said it, but I wasn't listening. Dr. Lacey
Mhm.
said it. I wasn't listening. He said, I needed dissertation ready. I need your proposal dissertation ready. Dr. Lacey does this in FYD all the time. We're thinking about proposal. He's thinking about dissertation. Like you're going to be done. You're going to get to the finish line, but I need you to think that you're already done. And these are the steps that you need to go through to be done. So in doing so, I got to revision 5. I call it, revision 5. And this was in what, March? We were in March, April. Yeah, revision 5. And I knew then, okay, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be ready. He was like, add one more thing. And matter of fact, I'm going to add a chart to I was like, wait, you're adding charts to my study, sir. This is not your study. And then we joked back and forth, but it became his study. And I was just a co-writer,
Yeah.
on the study. But I ended up doing like 5.2, revision 5.2, 8 months, 5.2 revisions later. I ended up defending my proposal defense. It was at the end of April. I went out of town, y'all. I celebrated. I had a good time. Came back that Monday, defended my proposal defense that Monday. At the same time, I don't even know if Dr. Lacey knows this, so this is good. So I was also finishing coursework. It was my last class, and it was my superintendent practicum course. So that same day, I defended my superintendent practicum course. I had to put together a lot of slides for that too. On top of 2 hours later, I was defending my proposal defense in the same day. So then immediately after that, May rolled around. Dr. Lacey was like, matter of fact, they didn't have a lot of feedback. Like, let's just start there. Like, they did not have, my committee didn't have a lot of feedback. One of my committee members asked me a question about how do I operationally define behavior challenges. And I looked her dead in the face and said, I don't know, but I will figure it out. And so I did that. And I was able to answer that in my final defense. But I took a whole week off because here in Louisville, Kentucky, we celebrate Derby. That's the first week of May. Oh, I celebrated. I celebrated. So that first
Mhm.
week of May, Derby came around. I didn't do anything. Second week of May, I didn't do anything. Mind you, I'm supposed to be submitting stuff to IRB. So I was like, okay, well, let me go on in third week of May. Let me go and look at this IRB application. Got it done. I got the after talking to Dr. Lacey, I got the IRB application done in like 2 days because I thought what would take me forever compared to my other cohort members, it took me 2 days because I was that ready. Like my stuff was that ready where all I had to do was copy, paste, plug and play. That was it. And so I don't know if you want to go
Oh,
from there, Dr.
no,
Lacey.
I'm like, keep going because I want people to hear that all of the what you thought was like he was trying to hold you back was setting you
Yeah.
up for the dominoes to fall the way they did.
Yeah, so I'll keep going. So, submitted the IRB. That process for some of my cohort members, it was taking like they were like, "Oh, this process is gonna take 70 days, 80 days." Well, I got my stuff back in 30 days. I submitted it mid May, got it back like June the 13th. And they usually say you don't pass the first go round. So I didn't. I did not pass. And I was at a academic conference the first go round. Mind you, I'm still in my current job as an academic instructional coach. I was not looking for another job. And I'm saying that I was not looking for another job. So I'm going to tell you how these things fell into place. So June, I got my IRB back. No, you didn't pass. I opened up the revisions, y'all. It was 3 revisions that I needed to make. Where other people like in my cohort had like a lot. 3. So I got on the phone. I'm gonna use my resources because I'm calling the IRB people because I need to know exactly what it is you want from me because I need to be done. Right. Like I got into that mind frame of I don't care what it's gonna take. I know that I'm going to graduate in, mind you, we're in 2024. I'm graduating in December or May. I needed to be done because I was tired of school. I was over it. All the revisions, all these things I had went through. So called, her name is Kathy. I should give her a shout out. Kathy at the IRB at the University of Louisville is my girl. But Kathy, called Kathy on the phone. She was just happy. She was just happy to talk to a student. Yeah, I'll walk you through it. Like, reach out to your IRB people. They want to help. She was like, I tell people all the time, we don't want to hold y'all back. We want to see your study. We want you all, we want to help you guys. So reached out to Kathy. I did the little 3 revisions. The next day, I got an email that says you've been approved for IRB. And even my professor, Bill, was like, that's the fastest turnaround I ever seen. So at that exact moment, I already had my email listserv ready for my my previous student teachers went out. Boom, email went out. I scheduled I had everything scheduled before the end of June. I was doing interviews the entire, like toward the end of June and all the month of July, the entire time through the month of July. And mind you, I ended up applying for another job because the district came for me. They came looking for me. And I was going back and forth. And I remember messaging Dr. Lacey about this too, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish my dissertation and take on a new job at the same time. But I was. Why? Because of the schedule that I had created 2 years ago when I was being in the FYD program. I used the same system. I did not, my schedule it got tight. Like it got real tight. But I was able to hold I had 18 participants, y'all. 18 participants. And that was a thing too that I went back and forth with Bill about. I wanted 10. He said no, 18. He said 10 to 25. I gave him 18. 18 participants. I coded my last like bit of data at the end of July. Mind you, there's a lot of celebrations happening. My anniversary, birthday. I had a grandbaby on the way. Like all these things. I know. I'm gonna hope somebody's grandmama out here. But my bonus grandbaby on the way. All of these things was happening, but I was able to do that because of the schedule that I had planned with the FYD program and just sticking to the timeline, like sticking to it. And so after each interview, I went ahead and coded the data. I didn't wait until the end. So because there was a lot of participants and I know I wasn't going to be able to remember all of everything that they said. So I coded it immediately after, like hand. I didn't use like the Deduce or any of those coding programs. Lord, I wish I wish I had known back then what I know now. But so I did it all by hand and I was able to write my chapters 4 and 5 in the month of August. 4 and 5, because I wanted to have it submitted to Bill before the school year actually started. So now I'm working at the district. So that looks different. So I didn't know what this job was going to entail. I didn't know what any of those things was going to be like, but I just knew before I started teaching at U of L again and getting really into the work, I needed to have my chapter submitted, because if it was something crazy, then I know I was going to have time to do all the revisions, because I didn't know what he was going to say with
Yeah.
chapters 4. Yeah.
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 And so I want everybody to be clear, especially those of you watching the replay. And the time that everybody told her, they told her it's going to take about 70 to 80 days for her to even get a response back from IRB and for it to be passed. In that amount of time, she was able to celebrate passing her proposal, do the IRB submission, get it back in record time,
Yep.
respond back to their edits, get it approved, do her participant recruitment of 18, do 18 interviews, hold those 18 interviews, and write chapters 4 and 5. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
That's
And the
crazy.
time that they said, right, that it was going to take for IRB, she did all of that.
Yeah.
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 Plus a
And
new
over the
job.
summer.
Plus a new
And a new
job.
job, right? And a new
Yeah.
job. And so I submitted, I had real bad anxiety about submitting my chapters 4 and 5 to him because of what I went through with chapters 1 and 3. I reviewed chapters 4. I was done with chapters 4 and 5 probably mid August or the end of August, but I held on to it
Mm-hmm.
because I was scared to submit it. I was scared because I didn't know what he was going to say. I didn't know if he was going to come back and be like another round of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because in my mind, I didn't have time for that. And there's that moment, like, mind you, I hadn't even talked to y'all about other cohort members. I didn't care what other cohort members was doing at that point, because I was only focusing on what Erica had to get done. So I submitted it to him, closed my eyes, hit the button, and he replied back again with I got 2 or 3 more people in the queue ahead of you. I'll get to you in a week or two. 3 days later, I get this email that says Erica at the top. I almost lost it. I was at work at it was like 4:30. I'm ready to get off work. And I read it and I broke down and I cried. He said, this is by far one of the best chapters 4 and 5 he has ever read in his entirety. In his entirety, y'all.
He's been doing this for a while. He's been doing it for a
Y'all
long time,
not
y'all.
hearing me. This man who 5 revisions, 8 months. He said is by far one of the best chapters 4 and 5 he's ever read.
Mm-hmm.
And he said usually it takes 1 to 2 iterations before somebody is scheduling their defense. He said, but I think you can have the little things that I need you to get done quickly and we can schedule your defense. That did it for me. That oh my God, I was on cloud 9 at that moment. I was like, oh, it's on now. Like it's happening. So now we're in like beginning of September. I did the things that he wanted me to do. One of the things was, and I laugh about this, I actually left off an entire section of my chapter 5. It was the policy section, because I was refusing to put in critical race theory because I didn't want to do it. Nothing against it. That wasn't my theory. My theory was Brofenbrenner's ecological system theory. But I just did not want to. I just felt like I didn't need to add anything else extra. Like I didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, no, you needed to. So I had to write an entire policy section for chapter 5 because I didn't do it. So I did that within like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. Got it done, got it submitted. And then that's when I was able to schedule my defense. And mind you, what took so long, it was the committee. I
Yeah.
was done, like I probably could have defended in October, but it took them like a month to get together because of their schedule. But it all happens all in time frame. Turns out I ended up being the first to defend and the first to finish in my cohort and I didn't say this at first, but I was the last person to apply for the program.
Mm.
The last person to apply. And I was told, like, we're not admitting anybody else. You're the last of the program. You're the last of the cohort. I was the last one to apply for the program and the first to finish. And I wasn't even looking to be the first. Like at that moment, I stopped worrying about everybody else's timeline. I stopped caring about where everybody was in their progress and their process. But all I could think about is you go slow to go fast, dissertation ready, write the shitty paragraph because they're going to chop it up and spit it out anyway. Like my chapter 2 before, when I was working with Dr. Lacey, my chapter 2 before is not what my chapter 2 is now. That's why she tells you to write it, because it's not going to be like, it's going to change. Some of those things are going to change. And mind you, I was still in coursework. So while everybody was writing and doing all these, well, like at the end for me, I was done with coursework in May, well, in April. While everybody was still in courseworks and doing all these things, I was writing. I was coding data, writing chapters 4 and 5. And I started this in year 2 of my program. Like, that's huge for me. And it means a lot. Like, it just means a lot. Because I didn't think that little girl sitting in the backseat of the car that you was talking to, and you said, what if you just showed up and became a powerhouse, that I'd be sitting here having this conversation with you now, and then receive the award that I received as well. So like that, it was huge. So yeah. So thank you.
So if you could go back, you did it. First of all, let's be clear. You did the work. I was just there to just like push buttons, right? But you did the work. If you could go back to that, to talk to that version of you like that was in the backseat of the car, and thinking about how you were nervous about like playing full out and like worrying about keeping all the balls in the air, what advice would you give her, right? Because somebody who's watching this right now is
Woo.
where you were in the backseat of that car trying to figure out how you're going to get to the other side of graduation with all the stuff and people that are competing for your attention. What
Is
would
it
you go? Yeah, what would you tell that version of you?
is it okay if I say one bad word?
Yeah.
Let that shit go. Let it go.
Hmm.
Let that shit go. Because you're a beast. You're a beast, and there's nobody stopping you, and ain't nobody in your way. Nobody's blocking you but you. And allow yourself to do the thing that you said you were going to do. Like, block out the noise. Show up every day for you. That's what I would say. Like, that's exactly what I would say. I'm almost getting ready to cry because because when I think about my educational experience and where I came from and where I am now, like, that's so surreal. Like, somebody at one point told me, don't even get your specialist degree because you're not a good writer. Man, I'm a whole ass doctor out here now. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, I wasn't even going to go into education because I wasn't even going to be able to pass one of my classes. I was told to switch my major. Now I'm at the district teaching everybody.
Teaching everybody. We didn't get into that, but like
We didn't
teaching
even get into
everybody.
teaching
Mhm.
everybody. Like that right there. Like, let that shit go. Sis, bruh, you out there, like, show up
Mhm.
and be the powerhouse. Whatever definition that means for you, I still can't put into words
Mhm.
what that even means. If somebody was to say, write the definition, I'm gonna just put my picture on the wall because that's what it is. That's, I have no words. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, like, let it go. Show up every day. And do the thing that you said you were gonna do because you're doing it for you and nobody else's timeline but your timeline.
Yes.
Yep. That's what I got.
And I want to say thank
Um,
you for sharing. You have no idea. Like, so many people are going to look back on this and be so grateful, and they just need this push right now. Because it's just, with everything that's going on in the world, thinking about the time of year,
whew,
it could just feel like, what's the point, right? When we go back to you in December of 2023, it was like, what's the point? What's the point of
I was ready to quit.
continuing?
I was
Yeah.
getting ready to quit because I'm sitting here worried about what other cohort members are doing and everybody else. And here I am. I had it the whole time. I was it the whole time, and didn't even know it until the end.
So how would you describe that, right? Because here's the thing. There's somebody right now who's like, somebody who asks me all the time, like, you tell everybody their 10% is everybody's 90%. And here you are saying you have it the whole time, but like, what does that mean? How do you know for sure? How do you know that you're just not special? And
Because here's what it was
mm,
for me.
mm,
When they kept calling me, asking me questions.
mm,
Like Dr. Lacey said it earlier, like they would call me and ask me questions to figure out where I was or to figure out what I was doing
like your
or to
other
let
cohort
yeah,
members.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like, let me pick. You know, people say like, let me pick your brain for a little bit. No, you're not picking my brain for free anymore. But no, it was that. Like it was at that moment. And actually, one of my cohort members said, I'm trying to I'm trying to beat you. That's what was it. Like, what? I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is not a race. I was like, this is not a race. It was like, I know, but for me to keep up with you, and I'm sitting over here like, in my mind, I'm trying to keep up with you because you done. Your data is coded. What do you do? You know what I mean? So like, that's what I was thinking in my mind, and that's when you know. That's when you know. Like they coming to you, they see you, and I just had to sit. That could be a silent assassin. That's literally what it was. Silent
Yeah.
assassin. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to work on the definition of what it means to be a powerhouse. But what I think
Please.
about, my nerdy self thinks about the mitochondria of the cell. And if you don't know, it's the powerhouse of the cell. It's what keeps us going as humans. But it just does it effortlessly, right? If you,
Yeah.
especially if you're eating properly. Okay, I'm not going too far down that rabbit hole. But when it comes to you being a doc student, you've been in school for forever, and I mean that in the biggest, with the biggest compliment. You know how to show up and go to these people's classes. You know how to
Yep.
show up and do these people's assignments. You know how to write. Even if they're telling you your writing isn't good, you know how to do the steps. You know how to do the technical things required to be a doctor. The only thing that's missing is that you don't trust yourself to do it. You don't trust that you retain information. You don't trust that you know what you're talking about because people make it a point to question you. People make it a point to be like, "Are you sure?" Maybe people laugh or whatever they sneak it, but people are not paying attention to people they don't feel like
Yep.
what's the word I'm looking for? They don't feel intimidated by.
Yep.
I'm not coming to ask you what part you're on if I didn't see you as the one to beat, as competition. I'm not paying attention to your every move if I don't see how powerful you are.
Yeah.
Don't misinterpret people's like snarty, like their little jokes and their little comments.
Yeah.
They're doing that
Yeah.
because they're intimidated, because they know who you are. They see how powerful you are. And I'm just saying, be a powerhouse means what if part of you believed that you are that girl? And I'm a, take the gender part out of it, but you are the one. Like, what if you believed me for a little bit? You don't gotta 1,000% believe me, but what if you believe me a little bit?
Believe it. Yeah.
How far would you go? Yeah, y'all come in and y'all see these stories, right? You hear me talk to these people, but you don't think it's you. It is you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was that the final defense, right? Like when they started talking about all the things, and I was sitting there like, Dr. Lacey was right. And I was freaking out one, but I was like, Dr. Lacey was right about everything she said. They're going to want to do studies with you. They're going to want you to build college courses and micro credential courses. You heard all the feedback. Like it blew my mind. It blew my mind. It
Yeah.
really blew my mind because it was still even up to the final defense. Like I say, I'll like keep going, but even up to the final defense, I was still like, can I do this? Like
Mm.
you about to do this? Like you get ready to defend this thing that you said you were gonna do. And I immediately got sick afterwards, y'all. It's a whole thing. Like my anxiety was through the roof. I was so nauseated afterwards. It was crazy. But to think now, and then people come to you for like, well, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And people wanted to have meetings with me afterwards. Like it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So show up, be your unique self, and stick to your timeline.
So if people want to follow up with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Through Instagram. I like Instagram a lot, or Facebook, either one. I think my name is like Doc underscore Dr. Erica B. Brooks or something like that. But I'm on Instagram. Follow up with me. I'm also on X, Facebook, all the platforms. Yeah, just
Yes.
follow up.
And
Yeah.
one last question. So, for those of you who are interested, the Finish Your Dissertation Institute, the price will be going up. So, you see my comment that you want to save 50%. You have until the end of this year, so December 31st, because on January 1st, the price is changing. And I'm not saying that in like some fake urgency, no, sincerely. What we offer in this program, you will not get anywhere else. The type
Yep.
of support, the type of structure, the type of resources, you will not get anyone anywhere else. And so someone right now, Erica, is probably where you were I don't need to pay. I got my cohort, I got a great advisor, I got a great chair. Why should I join something that I'm already paying for in my academic program?
Because that's the whole point. In the academic program, it's more systematic. This is not. And this is something that you didn't even know you needed. Even if you just show up just for the planning piece, right? Like the community to be free and to not be judged. I did not once, I did not feel like I had to hold back. Because, in cohort classes, you just let the talker do all the talking the entire time. No, everybody's talking. Everybody is out for the same common goal. And just think this time next year, you'll be doctor. And that's what Dr. Lacey used to say all the time. What about this time next year? This time next year, you'll be doctor.
Yeah.
Allow yourself the freedom to do that.
Yeah. And so, is there anything? So, you talk about planning, but if I feel like I already know how to plan, what
Mm,
else is this program giving me? Right. And I know this is hard to put into words, right? Because you're on the other side of it. But I really need you to think about that person who's like, I already have a dope chair. Like, so what? Dr. Lacey is great. I can watch her on Instagram. Right. Like, what is it that the program.
because it's a mental mindset shift. And I've been saying this from the beginning. Like it was not, it's the program, right? Like it's the planning piece, but it was a mental mind shift that I had to make internally. Like Dr. Lacey is like a personal life coach slash dissertation chair coach person. Like she gets to the root of the why, like the
Mhm.
true root of your why. That is why you need this, because on a surface level your chair is not going to do that because they got 50,000 other people. Like you get to the root cause of the why and you get real authentic feedback.
Mm, mhm. Because that is what you need to, right? Even though you're terrified, you're still going to walk into your
Yeah.
defense with confidence. Like, you're still going to go through this process with, like, well, she think I could do it, or the community thinks I could do it. You need that, and this is more than hype. But like I said, we have resources. We have that.
Yeah.
You're going to finish in record time, and you're going to feel supported while you do it. And I say that is
Yeah.
priceless. So please go check out the page. Like I said, the price will be increasing. We're having some co-working calls. We're not having any like dissertation session in terms of the holiday break, but we do have some co-working calls. So people are still writing, they're still showing up, being in community. And we're gonna come back at the beginning of January. Listen, y'all thought I was playing this year. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I like to add that it gives you structure and actual
Yes.
step-by-step procedure. Also, the community is supportive. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, it
Yes.
sure does. Because without that, FYD, listen, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'd probably still be on chapter 2 or revision.
No,
Who
no.
knows? Who
But
knows?
I want to be respectful. So thank you
Yeah.
so much of your
All
time,
right.
y'all. I've done other interviews. It's like at least 2 or 3 on YouTube and on Instagram with Dr. Brooks. So if you want to go deeper into her story about her jobs and whatnot, we talked about that. But I will definitely be back here next Tuesday, if not before. Go live every Tuesday. But I want to say thank you, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all. Thank you,
Bye.
Dr.
Thank
Brooks.
you. You're welcome.